You are listening to Lovely Talks Heavy. Hello everybody, and welcome to Lovely Talks Heavy. I am your host, Lovely, and I discuss everything I enjoy with regard to heavy music. Before we dive into the topic of this week's episode, I wanted to provide a little update on myself and where I'm at. As much as I used to use Twitter to broadcast every microsecond of my opinions on Ink Master every Tuesday, since I've stopped watching it, my Twitter use has tapered off quite a bit. So why not provide an update on at least one of the outlets I use? So I got a new job recently, and everyone there is proving to be very nice people. And that just makes it easier to transition into a new work environment, I think. Amid writing/recording this podcast and constantly wrestling with my demons, I've been listening to more podcasts. I finished up the Sparks, Nevada Marshall on Mars story from the Thrilling Adventure Hour not too long ago, and I've started listening to We Got This with Mark and Hal. Among those, I continue to listen to The Adventure Zone, Welcome to Night Vale, and My Brother and My Brother and Me. My Brother and Me. It's a long-ass podcast title. Anyhow, I've been feeling the drive to draw again lately, which is wonderful because along with the Twitter use thing, I used to draw like every day, and lately I've been lucky to get a few scribbles in my sketchbook, which I've still been keeping sketchbooks, but it's like my completed works of art, if you shall, are more few and far between than they used to be, which might be a symptom of my aforementioned battling of demons, but you know, it's good to be able to feel like wanting to create something visually once again. I've also just rearranged the energy flow in my bedroom, which has delayed recording of this episode by a full day, but I feel so much the better for it. So yeah, my workspace is so much better. It feels so much better now that I've done this. It doesn't feel so restricted and confined. Finally, I've figured out my Halloween costume for this year, which I'm very excited about. Last year, I didn't dress up or do anything for Halloween, which I was fine with. I was very content with it, actually. However, I'm glad I can dress up this year at my new place of work, and I'll be glad to share it on the day of Halloween. I'm not going to say what it is yet, but I think it's really fun, and I'll post it on my Instagram once the day comes. But that does lead me into the topic of today's episode. We're building a Halloween playlist, a heavy metal one at that. Whether you're prepping a playlist for a Halloween party or simply building a playlist to keep in the seasonal mood, there is a certain method you want to use. Considering metal is already within the realms of creepy and dark, it can be tricky to make a playlist that doesn't sound like another metal Spotify playlist. If you're building a heavy metal Halloween playlist, there needs to be a sense of novelty about the playlist. Sure, a playlist might be metal, but does it feel like a Halloween playlist? I've got a lovely bunch of songs that can help you get started on building your Halloween heavy metal playlist, so let's get started. The first one on the top of this playlist is Nailed by the Hammer of Frankenstein by Lordi. This was an easy pick because I love Lordi, who are perfect for a Halloween type playlist. Nailed by the Hammer of Frankenstein was the leading single off of their 2014 album Scareforce 1, which was appropriately released on Halloween. In Europe anyways. It got released other days in other parts of the world, which, Halloween wasn't on a Tuesday that year, so it got delayed in the US. Anyways, this song is packed with party spirit and puns, underlined by a driving bass line provided by Ox of Lordi, and classically creepy keys by Hella of Lordi. If I weren't recommending this song for Halloween, I'd be recommending Nailed by the Hammer of Frankenstein any other day of the year. Next on this pumpkin spice flavored pancake stack of a playlist is one of the first heavy metal songs ever to exist. From Black Sabbath's eponymous debut album is their eponymous song, Black Sabbath. This is also fitting because Black Sabbath released their first album on Friday the 13th of 1970, and I'm recording this episode on Friday the 13th in October of 2017. Ooh. Back before church burnings and bandmate murders, the instrumentals of Black Sabbath would evoke feelings of doom and drive a chill down one's spine. If the instrumentals weren't enough to creep you out, the lyrics spin a tale of Satan coming to get ya, and Ozzy Osbourne wailing out, "Oh, please, God," makes you believe for a moment that Satan is, in fact, a-comin'. Dancing Dead by Avenged Sevenfold comes from a CD-DVD double pack of covers, B-sides, alternative versions of their own songs, and a live performance called Diamonds in the Rough / Live in the LBC. This song brings about the Halloween party vibe with a chorus that feels poppy for Avenged Sevenfold. But that's what makes it a tad fun, wouldn't you agree? Other A7X fans might argue that their classic A Little Piece of Heaven would be a better fit for a Halloween playlist like this, and I would be inclined to agree. A Little Piece of Heaven is an 8-minute epic story with twists and turns that tell a tale you could find in a classic horror film, backed by instrumentals that Danny Elfman could have composed. I wanted to include Dancing Dead in this playlist, however, because it is a more fun party song about the supernatural, whilst A Little Piece of Heaven is a messed up story filled with horror and romance. It definitely goes into the honorable mentions, though. While Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath fears the possibility of Satan coming, Saint Satan's Day by Powerwolf is begging for Satan to come welcome his son. This one comes off of Powerwolf's 2009 album Bible of the Beast and opens up with cultish chanting, inviting the Dark Lord himself to come. Now, of course, you can never escape me talking about Powerwolf because I love them so much. Okay? Okay. This next one is inarguably one of Fintroll's most popular songs, But it's perfect for a Halloween party playlist because it holds that party spirit and a certain novelty that a Halloween playlist requires. I'm talking about Thrall Hammerin by Thrall. If you don't understand Swedish, then you'll find it fun to just simply jam along to the fun instrumentals of this track whilst chanting Trollhammaren every now and again. If you do understand Swedish, then you'll enjoy the tale of the Trollhammer whilst also jamming along to the fun instrumentals. Which, disclaimer on my part, I don't understand Swedish, but after a couple of lessons on Duolingo, it's not hard to figure out that Trollhammaren literally means the troll hammer, especially when you get into the grammatics of it. And yeah, anyways, Trollhammaren by Troll. Put it on your fucking party playlist. Put it on your regular playlist too while you're at it. The last song I'll suggest for your Halloween playlist is Alestorm by, wait for it, Alestorm. Off of their latest album, No Grave But the Sea, Alestorm, the song, makes things a bit heavier instrumentally, but is still fun in that the band are devoted to two things, lyrically speaking: booze and pirates. If you want a fun metal party playlist regardless of the time of year, Alestorm, the band, needs to be a staple in your library like yesterday. But for those looking to get tipsy on Halloween, Alestorm, the song, by Alestorm, the band, is the song to do it to, whilst also remembering to party responsibly, my friends. Okay. You know, don't drink and drive, all that fun stuff. Like, it's fun to get drunk. It's fun to be drunk. But it's also fun to do it all responsibly. I don't know. As somebody who's seen a hangover or two in their life, like literally a hangover or two, three, it's not fun bearing that responsibility the next morning. So, I don't know, just be responsible. You know, it's all fun. Anyway, this is turning into a PSA. I'm gonna just shut up now. And that'll do it for this week's episode of Lovely Talks Heavy. That sound canned. Let's do that over. And that'll do it for this episode of Lovely Talks Heavy. Why sound any more canned than I already was in the PSA portion of that? Anyway. Moving on. Thank you for listening to this episode of Lovely Talks Heavy. What would you put on a party playlist for Halloween? Let me know on social media, on Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube, and Mixcloud. I'm LovelyMetalhead. That is LovelyMetalhead, no space in between those two, and spelled how you would normally spell those words. Anyhow, if you enjoyed this episode, please recommend it to a friend. Every time this podcast hits a new set of ears, it means the absolute world to me. And that said, until next week, next Saturday, the next episode of Lovely Talks Heavy, you stay brutal, my friends. Bye.